So when it comes to shopping for a day pack, there are a ton of different options with different features depending on the type of activities that you plan to use it for. In this video, I'll give you the 5 main criteria I use to select my day pack in addition to a few bonus features to look for so you can decide what's right for you. Coming up right after this. What's good, my people? FinerBub here. Thanks for checking out the video. For those of you who don't know, on this channel, I'm all about sharing my thoughts and experiences on the best spots to check out and the best gear to bring with. So if, like me, you want to spend more time outside appreciating the finer things in life, do yourself a favor and consider subscribing. Also, feel free to check out the description below for links to both the written version of this video as well as anything else I mention. And make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video where I share a few bonus features to look for that'll help you narrow down your options even further. Alrighty then, without further ado, let us begin! When you start researching online, it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially if you don't have a solid understanding of what your options are. There are a few determining factors that I used to narrow down my options before I bought my day pack. Alright, let's start with sternum straps. This feature helps with stability and weight distribution and can be adjusted to match your comfort level. When I'm hiking downhill, I often loosen my shoulder straps to keep my center of gravity further back. But since I don't want the pack to flop around, I find that tightening the sternum strap really helps prevent the pack from shifting around too much. The second feature that I look for in a pack is a hip belt. This is especially important for larger packs, but it applies to day packs as well. Like the sternum strap, a hip belt does keep the pack close to your body, but that's not its primary purpose. If you tighten the hip belt just above your hip bone and then loosen the shoulder straps, you'll notice that most of the pack's weight is resting on your hips, not your back. This way you save energy by using your legs to carry most of the weight. Some hip belts offer more comfort and support than others. Their construction ranges from simple nylon straps to more elaborate padded support systems, but that usually depends on the size and intended purpose of the pack. The third feature to look for in a day pack is hydration bladder compatibility. Even though most packs have side pockets for water bottles, many have additional features that support the use of a hydration bladder, like this one from Camelback. This feature shouldn't be a deal breaker if you prefer drinking out of a water bottle as opposed to a bladder. I tend to prefer bottles for overnight excursions since I usually need to collect and filter water a couple times per day, and it's a lot easier to filter water into a bottle that can stand up on its own as opposed to a bladder that's harder to hold open with one hand. But for shorter day hikes, I prefer to just fill up either my 2 or 3 liter bladder in the morning so I don't have to refill as often, if at all. So hydration bladder compatibility usually consists of 3 different elements. The first is a pocket for the bladder that keeps it separate from the rest of your pack so it's out of the way if you need to look for something. A full water bladder is often going to be the heaviest thing in your pack, so that pocket helps you keep the weight close to your body so it's easier to carry. The second element is a hole that you can thread the hose through, which won't wear it down as fast as it would if it was rubbing on a zipper or something like that. And the last element is a loop or a strap to secure the hose to your shoulder straps so that it doesn't flop around too much. Okay, on to number 4. The fourth feature to look for in a day pack is a pack frame. Pack frames date way back through history. There are a few different classifications of pack frames in modern backpacks, but for the purposes of this review, all you need to know is that backpacks that have frames are able to support and distribute weight much more effectively than backpacks with no frame. The fifth feature you should look for is a suspended mesh back. This feature allows air to circulate between the pack and your back so you don't get as sweaty. I've got to say that if I had to give up all these features but one, this is the one I would keep. I can't say I don't sweat as much, but at least I don't soak everything on the inside of my pack anymore. Truth be told, most of the time I'm out hiking, I'd rather not wear a pack at all. Packs are uncomfortable, they weigh you down, and they gnaw at your back and shoulders. But unfortunately, the nature of venturing out to do the things we like to do does come with certain necessary evils that we just have to deal with, like carrying food and water, carrying dry clothes to change into, carrying an extra layer or 2. For me, that also means carrying camera gear, and the best way to do all this is to put it in a sack and toss it over your shoulder. The point is that I will take any and every opportunity I can to make sure that that process is more comfortable for myself. And so far, the suspended mesh back is the feature that contributed most to that goal. This feature is only present in packs that have frames, but keep in mind that not all packs with frames have a suspended mesh back. So even if you get a pack with an internal frame that doesn't do as much to increase the airflow, the support and weight distribution that the frame provides helps you conserve energy and is therefore still better than a pack with no frame. Bonus tips. So now that you know my quote-unquote deal breaker features, I want to talk about a few other bonus features to look for to help you narrow down your options even further. Starting with hip belt pockets. Keeping stuff in your pants pockets can get really annoying and decrease your range of motion when hiking, climbing, or biking. So pockets on a hip belt become pretty useful for keeping the stuff you need quick access to close at hand while keeping them out of the way so that you can maintain a consistent and unrestricted stride. When I hike, I like to keep a snack in one side and this phone lens and a small lighter in the other side. But when I'm in town, I keep my phone charger and my headphones on one side and some AA and AAA batteries on the other. But they can really be used for anything, and they're especially useful for storing the smaller items you want to access without having to take off the pack. The only time I'd advise against getting a pack with hip belt pockets is if you ride a bike more than you like hiking or climbing or whatever. Especially those hardcore racing bikes where your knees get really close to your chest. So one of my cousins is a competitive cyclist, and I know from him that when you race bikes, the idea is to be as streamlined as possible, and the hip belt pockets will create a bit of drag. And the second reason is that when you're biking, especially with those intense bikes, you're doubled over and constantly pounding your knees into your chest. And so if you have stuff in those hip belt pockets, they'll probably be in the way. As we know from the bit I mentioned before about sweating through my backpack, most of these materials are not waterproof. So my next bonus feature to look for in a day pack is a rain cover. They do sell these separately, so I don't think this should be a deal breaker feature, but I will say that buying a pack with a built-in rain fly is often more convenient. First of all, it's just less work. If you don't have to find a rain fly that fits your pack, that's just one less thing to worry about. One last thing. Tim and Dan say we don't have to worry about money no more. We invest in the fruit company. One less thing. Second, a rain fly that's designed to fit your specific pack is going to stay on more securely than one made by a third-party company. And third, when a pack comes with a rain fly, it often has its own storage space, so you're less likely to forget it at home, and you'll never have to shove a wet rain cover in the pack with all the other stuff that you want to keep dry. So my last bonus tip or bonus feature to look for in a day pack are load lifters. These are typically found on larger packs and are used to help distribute the weight. When I do overnight hikes with my Osprey Exos 58, I notice the load lifters benefit most when hiking either up or down a steep hill. Similar to what I mentioned in the section about the sternum straps, when I'm ascending a hill, I tighten them so that the weight is closer to my back, and this drives my center of gravity forward, and I loosen the straps when I'm descending the hill or the mountain, which drives my center of gravity backwards. I do this so that my default lean, so to speak, is always pulling me towards the hill. This way, if I fall or I lose my balance, I'm less likely to injure myself. Think about it like walking up and down a staircase. If you're walking up the stairs, it's much safer to fall forward onto the steps than it is to fall backward off the steps. Similarly, if you're walking down the stairs, it's much safer to fall back onto the stairs than it is to fall forward off the stairs. And that's really all there is to it. If you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, make sure to keep an eye out for next week's video, where I'll conduct a detailed review of my day pack that I use not only for hiking, but for everyday use as well. We'll go over the specs, what I like, don't like, and we'll take a look at some competing models so that you can form a more well-rounded opinion before deciding what to get for yourself. Sternum strap, hip belt, hydration bladder compatibility, frame, suspended mesh back, hip belt pockets, rain fly, load lifters. So there you have it, folks. I want to wish a very warm welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. If this is the first video of mine that you've seen, I just want to let you know that I also make travel guide videos in addition to the gear videos like this one. I just wrapped up a series playlist on a car camping road trip that I took with some friends around Iceland. The reason I bring this up is because I used my day pack on every one of the 10 days that I was away. So if you'd like some contextual examples of situations that my pack has had to endure, or you just want to have fun learning about new places via yours truly, then that Iceland playlist should suit you nicely. Alrighty, my people, that concludes this week's episode of the FinerBub Show. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If not, I hope you at least learned something that might help you with your search for the perfect day pack. Either way, let me know in the comments section. Before you go, I just want to once again thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're looking for new gear, don't let the small details stress you out. Remember, life's an adventure, so relax, breathe in the outdoors, and don't forget to appreciate the finer things in life. See you out there, people. Peace.